There comes a moment in every believer's journey when the winds begin to change direction. The familiar ground starts to shake beneath your feet. What once felt comfortable begins to lose its satisfaction, and you wonder, Lord, what is happening? My friend, this is not confusion, it is divine repositioning. God is preparing to move you from where you have been to where you were destined to be. Your life is about to change, not by chance, but by divine orchestration. Before God brings promotion, He often allows a holy discomfort. The same way the eagle stirs her nest to make her young ones fly, God stirs your situation so you will rise above it. When the nest becomes uncomfortable, you begin to stretch your wings. You begin to see there's more beyond where you are. This is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of favor. You are being repositioned for something greater. Sometimes the shifting doesn't make sense. You lose people, you lose places, and you lose patterns that once defined you. You ask, why did that door close? Why did that opportunity end? But remember, when one season expires, God does not recycle the old. He releases the new. If you hold on to what God has finished, you will miss what He has begun. Don't mourn the end of a chapter. Celebrate that a new one is being written by the author of your destiny. Every divine repositioning starts with vision. God cannot move you beyond what you can see. That's why He told Abraham, lift up your eyes from where you are. The direction of your vision determines the direction of your life. If you can see by faith what God has spoken, you will walk into it even before it appears. Stop looking at your surroundings and start seeing your destiny. The atmosphere around you may not reflect your calling yet, but the Word of God already carries the blueprint of your future. In this process, faith becomes your greatest companion. When God repositions you, He doesn't give you all the details, He gives you a promise. The path may seem uncertain, but the promise is sure. You may not know how He will do it, but you can trust that He will. Faith doesn't deny the storm. It anchors you in the middle of it. It says, I don't need to understand, I only need to believe. And sometimes God delays what you desire because He is preparing you for what you deserve. Delay is not denial, it is development. You are being shaped, refined, and equipped. The character He builds in you now will sustain the calling He places upon you next. Don't rush the process, embrace it. Every moment of waiting is positioning you for the weight of glory that's about to come. Child of God, your current season may feel uncertain, but heaven is in control. The same God who called you will not abandon you. The same hand that lifted you before will lift you again. He is rearranging circumstances, realigning relationships, and rewriting outcomes in your favor. You are not being removed. You are being repositioned. So lift your head, strengthen your faith, and prepare your heart. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it's direction. The doors closing are not rejection, they are redirection. God is saying, I am placing you where your purpose will flourish, where your influence will expand, and where your spirit will soar. You are standing on the threshold of divine change. Heaven is announcing your new season. What seemed like loss will become your launching pad. What was painful will produce power. And soon, you will testify that everything God allowed was part of His perfect repositioning. Your life is about to change because the hand of God is upon you, moving you, guiding you, and establishing you in His divine purpose. When God begins to reposition your life, the first movement is not external, it is internal. Before He changes your location, your job, your relationships, or your circumstances, He first begins to transform your spirit. Divine repositioning always starts within. It is not merely about where you are stuck. Indeed, it is about who you are becoming. God works from the inside out because lasting change can only flow from a renewed heart. When heaven desires to shift your destiny, the first thing the Spirit of God does is stir something deep inside you. You may start to feel restless, discontent, or uneasy in places where you once felt secure. It is not that something is wrong with your environment. It is that something is awakening within your spirit. God never moves a person physically before he moves them spiritually. The Israelites were delivered from Egypt, but before they could enter the promised land, their minds had to be renewed. They left Egypt in one day, but Egypt took years to leave them. Likewise, you can move to a new city, start a new career, or enter a new relationship. But if your inner world remains the same, you will reproduce the same patterns. That is why God focuses first on transformation, not transition. He changes your thoughts, purifies your desires, and enlarges your faith. He strips away the attitudes, fears, and limitations that cannot go with you into the next season. When divine repositioning begins, it might not feel spiritual at first. You may sense confusion, dissatisfaction, or even loss. But in the unseen realm, God is stirring the waters of your spirit. He is awakening a deeper hunger for purpose, holiness, and alignment with His will. He allows your spirit to outgrow your surroundings so that you no longer fit in the same spaces. Just as a plant's roots push against the pot when it's time to be replanted, your soul begins to press against the limits of your current environment. You start to sense, there must be more than this. And indeed there is. This inner shift is God's preparation for elevation. You cannot be positioned for greater things while holding on to old mindsets. A person who thinks small cannot carry big blessings. A heart filled with fear cannot host divine vision. So God begins to dismantle the inner structures that have held you captive. He may confront your insecurities, challenge your comfort zones, or expose areas of unbelief. It's not punishment, it's purification. He is refining you so that when He promotes you, the blessing will not destroy you. This is why spiritual growth always precedes visible success. God tests your faith in private before He displays His glory in public. He trains your character in hidden seasons so that you can handle influence without losing humility. You may feel overlooked now, but you are being prepared. The quiet work of the Holy Spirit within you is the foundation for what He will build around you. Many people crave new positions, but few are willing to be transformed for them. Yet every new dimension demands a new version of you. Divine repositioning, therefore, is not about movement alone. It is about maturity. God may not be moving you to a new place. He may be deepening your capacity where you are. Sometimes He repositions your attitude before He repositions your assignment. He realigns your vision so you can see possibilities where you once saw problems. He reshapes your prayer life so you begin to pray from authority, not anxiety. And when that transformation is complete, your outer circumstances begin to align automatically with your inner reality. Never despise the inner work of God. The invisible seasons of change are the most important. When you feel unsettled but don't know why, it is often because heaven is adjusting your spiritual coordinates. You are being aligned with divine purpose. The Lord is tuning your heart to His frequency so that when the moment of transition arrives, you will recognize His voice and move without hesitation. This is the mystery of divine repositioning. It starts unseen but ends undeniable. When God is about to reposition your life, He often begins by making your current place uncomfortable. This is a principle that many overlook, yet it is central to understanding how divine promotion works. Comfort is always a blessing, sometimes it is a barrier. God knows that if you are too comfortable in your current season, you will resist the change He is preparing. That is why He stirs your situation, shakes your environment, and challenges your routines. The restlessness you feel is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is a signal that God is moving. He is creating the conditions necessary for you to rise. Discomfort is not meant to punish you, it is meant to propel you. Just as an athlete cannot grow without resistance, your spirit cannot ascend without pressure. God allows circumstances to stretch you so that you develop muscles of faith, patience, and perseverance that you could not gain otherwise. These periods of tension, uncertainty, and even apparent loss are refining moments. They force you to depend on Him more fully, to seek His guidance more earnestly, and to release control over outcomes that are beyond your understanding. What feels like chaos is often the divine workshop where your destiny is being crafted. Many people resist this process because they equate discomfort with failure. They see setbacks, delays, or changes as obstacles rather than opportunities. But God sees differently. He knows that the discomfort is temporary and that it is designed to bring eternal results. When your environment becomes uncomfortable, it is a spiritual signal that your current position can no longer contain the potential God has placed within you. It is a call to stretch, to grow, and to prepare for what lies ahead. The same way the potter kneads the clay, God uses challenges to shape you into a vessel capable of holding more. The key to navigating this season is perspective. Instead of focusing on the difficulty of your current circumstances, focus on the promise of God's plan. Understand that every shift, every shake-up, and every delay is working toward your elevation. Faith sees the invisible before it becomes visible. When you start to perceive your current discomfort as a precursor to divine promotion, your attitude changes. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances. You begin to recognize yourself as a participant in a divine process. Your trials become training, your delays become preparation, and your discomfort becomes a signal of imminent change. Another essential principle is surrender. You cannot be repositioned without releasing what no longer serves you. God may close doors, end relationships, or remove resources, not to harm you, but to make space for what is coming. Holding on to the old prevents the new from taking root. When discomfort arises, do not fight it, embrace it. Ask God to show you what He is teaching, to reveal what He is preparing, and to give you faith to step into the unknown. The discomfort is temporary, but the transformation is eternal. This season also requires patience and trust. Divine repositioning rarely happens overnight. God's timing is perfect, and His methods are intentional. While you may desire immediate change, the process is necessary to develop the strength, wisdom, and discernment needed for your new season. Those who resist the discomfort often miss the promotion, while those who endure with faith enter into their destiny fully equipped. Remember, when your current place feels limiting, it is not a punishment, it is preparation. God is not abandoning you, He is aligning your circumstances with your calling. The restlessness, the unease, and the pressure you feel are all signs that something greater is on the horizon. This discomfort is the wind that will lift you, the fire that will refine you, and the push that will propel you into the position He has prepared. So do not fear the shaking. Do not resent the tension. Embrace the discomfort with faith, for it is the hallmark of divine repositioning. Your present unease is proof that God is working behind the scenes. Your life is shifting from what it was to what it is destined to become. The season of discomfort is temporary, be you. The season of elevation is eternal, and it is waiting for you just beyond the limits of your current position. Faith is the bridge that carries you from your current season into the next. And when God is about to reposition your life, He calls you to a deeper, unwavering faith. Divine change cannot happen without it. You may see the shaking, feel the pressure, or sense the uncertainty, but faith is the lens through which you interpret every circumstance. It is the quiet assurance that God is at work even when nothing in your natural world makes sense. Faith is not passive, it is active trust, a decision to believe God's promises over your present reality. When God is repositioning you, the ordinary tools you have relied on before will no longer be sufficient. Your intellect, experience, and human strategies may have served you well in previous seasons, but they cannot carry you into the new dimension God has planned. This is why faith becomes the currency of your next season. Faith allows you to step beyond what you see and enter into what God has already promised. Without it, the doors of opportunity will remain closed. With it, even a tiny mustard seed of belief can move mountains, open doors, and align circumstances in your favor. Faith is built through obedience. God tests your heart by giving you small steps to trust Him before He gives you the full revelation of your destiny. When you act on His instructions, Even when the outcome is uncertain, your faith grows. It is refined in the fire of testing, strengthened by perseverance, and confirmed by results. You begin to understand that God's ways are higher than your ways, and His plans are perfect even when they don't match your timing. The bridge of faith is constructed one step at a time, and every act of obedience adds another plank that will carry you securely into your new season. Doubt and fear are natural responses to uncertainty, but they are the enemies of faith. When God begins to reposition you, challenges will come. They always do. Opportunities may seem blocked, people may leave, and situations may appear hopeless. Yet it is precisely in these moments that faith must rise. Faith does not demand the removal of obstacles. It demands trust in God's power to overcome them. The faithful do not wait for conditions to be perfect. They step forward in reliance on the one who is perfect. Your promotion, your breakthrough, and your repositioning are contingent on your willingness to believe before you see. Faith also requires vision. You cannot walk by sight alone, for the eye sees only what is present, but faith perceives what is promised. God wants you to see the invisible reality of your destiny and act in alignment with it. This vision becomes a magnet, attracting the right people, resources, and opportunities into your life. When you focus on what God has promised, rather than what your eyes observe, you position yourself for divine acceleration. Faith is the compass that guides you through uncertainty, the anchor that holds you steady during storms, and the fuel that propels you forward when the natural path seems impossible. Prayer is the environment in which faith flourishes. It is not merely talking to God, it is communing with Him in expectation, surrender, and trust. Through prayer, your faith is strengthened, your understanding is clarified, and your spirit is aligned with God's will. The prayers of faith do not manipulate God, they release His power into your situation. When God is about to reposition you, persistent, expectant prayer becomes a key that unlocks the doors of destiny. Finally, faith is inseparable from patience. God's timing is perfect, and the season of waiting is as important as the moment of arrival. Trusting Him during the delay demonstrates maturity and readiness for the next phase of your life. While you wait, continue to nurture your faith, strengthen your character, and align your heart with His will. The greater the faith, the greater the breakthrough. Your life is on the threshold of change, and faith is the bridge that will carry you safely across. It is not enough to desire change. You must believe it. You cannot step into your new season with old doubts. God is asking you to see beyond the present, trust beyond the visible, and believe beyond the limits of circumstance. Faith will lead you into the fullness of the divine repositioning He has prepared. Step forward boldly, for your breakthrough is imminent, and the God who called you is faithful to fulfill every promise. Vision is the lens through which God reveals your next season. And when He is repositioning your life, He begins by opening your eyes to see beyond your present circumstances. Many people wait for change to happen externally, expecting doors to suddenly open or opportunities to appear, but true divine repositioning begins internally, with a shift in perspective. God gives vision before He gives manifestation, because what you see in your spirit determines what you will step into in the natural. If your vision is limited, your progress will be limited. But when God enlarges your eyes to see what He sees, your life aligns with His plan, and the impossible becomes possible. Vision requires clarity and focus. The distractions, noise, and chaos of life can cloud your spiritual sight. That is why God often allows seasons of silence, solitude, and testing to refine your ability to see. He removes distractions so that you can perceive His direction clearly. In these moments, the Spirit of God illuminates the path ahead, helping you to discern between what is temporary and what is eternal, between what is aligned with your purpose and what is a detour. Vision is not just about knowing where you want to go. It is about understanding where God wants to lead you. A divinely inspired vision is more than just an idea. It is a blueprint for destiny. God implants within your spirit the picture of what is coming, but it is often hidden until you are ready to receive it. This is why many people fail to step into their calling. They cannot see what God has prepared. Your vision must rise above circumstance, beyond limitation, and outside the influence of fear. It is what compels you to move when everything around you says to stay still. When your eyes are fixed on God's vision, you are propelled forward, even when the natural conditions seem impossible. Faith and vision are inseparable. Vision without faith will produce frustration, and faith without vision will produce stagnation. God gives you a picture of your future to inspire your faith, to motivate your obedience, and to anchor your hope. The clearer your vision, the stronger your faith becomes, and the more persistent you will be in pursuing the path God has set before you. Vision fuels action. It turns waiting into preparation and challenges into opportunities. It allows you to see the end from the beginning and to walk toward it with confidence, knowing that God is already there. God also uses vision to realign your priorities. When you see your life from God's perspective, what once seemed urgent becomes secondary, and what once seemed impossible becomes attainable. Vision changes the way you think, the way you make decisions, and the way you interact with the world. It removes distractions, exposes detours, and highlights the pathways that lead to your purpose. Without vision, you drift aimlessly. With vision, you move intentionally. Your steps are guided by clarity, and your actions are infused with divine strategy. Developing vision requires patience and discipline. You cannot expect immediate understanding of everything God is doing. He reveals His plans gradually, often one step at a time, allowing your spirit to adjust and your faith to grow. This is why prayer, meditation on His Word, and attentive listening to His Spirit are essential. They sharpen your perception and prepare your heart to recognize opportunities that align with your calling. God's vision for your life is not accidental. It is intentional, strategic, and powerful. Finally, vision inspires endurance. Every journey toward repositioning comes with obstacles, setbacks, and delays. But when your eyes are fixed on the destination God has revealed, you are able to endure trials with hope and courage. The vision becomes a magnet that draws the invisible into the visible, aligning your circumstances with God's perfect plan. Your life is about to change because God is expanding your capacity to see what He sees, to believe what He promises, and to act according to His purpose. When your vision rises, your destiny follows. Vision is the key to stepping into your next season. It allows you to navigate uncertainty with confidence, pursue your calling with diligence, and embrace change with hope. What you see with your spirit will define the reality you experience. God is inviting you to see differently, to rise above limitation, and to align with His divine purpose. As your vision expands, your life will transform, and the repositioning He has orchestrated for you will become unmistakably real. Delay is often misunderstood, but when God is about to reposition your life, it is rarely a denial, it is divine preparation. Many people become frustrated when their prayers seem unanswered, their efforts appear stagnant, or the doors they expected remain closed. They question, why is this taking so long? Yet what feels like delay is often God's strategic timing at work. He is aligning every detail, arranging circumstances, and orchestrating events so that when your promotion comes, it arrives fully formed and perfectly timed. Every season of waiting has a purpose, and divine repositioning is incomplete without it. During times of delay, God is developing your character. Elevation requires maturity, endurance, and wisdom. If promotion came before preparation, it could overwhelm you. That is why God uses seasons of waiting to refine your faith, deepen your patience, and strengthen your resilience. Just as gold is purified by fire, your spirit is refined through delay. The waiting is not a punishment, it is a preparation. God is equipping you with the spiritual, emotional, and mental capacity to handle the responsibilities, influence, and blessings of your next season. Delay also develops discernment. When you are moved too quickly, You risk embracing opportunities that are not aligned with God's purpose. But when He orchestrates the timing, every person, place, and opportunity is positioned in perfect alignment with His plan. The waiting teaches you to recognize divine timing versus human timing. It trains your heart to trust the unseen, to discern His voice over the noise of circumstance, and to walk in alignment with His will, even when impatience tempts you to act prematurely. Patience is not passive, it is active faith. The Bible teaches that the one who endures to the end will inherit the promise. In the same way, the one who trusts God's timing, even in the midst of apparent delay, is the one who will experience divine acceleration. Your willingness to wait, to persevere, and to continue sowing seeds of faith, even when results are not immediate, positions you for an explosive breakthrough. Delay is the soil in which your faith takes root, grows, and becomes unshakable. During this period, God is also orchestrating alignment. Relationships, resources, and circumstances are all being positioned for your advantage. Sometimes what seems like a setback is actually a strategic redirection. Doors that close are clearing the way for doors that will open. People who leave make room for those who are meant to enter, and challenges are creating the strength needed to sustain your new level. Divine repositioning requires synchronization, and delay is often God's method of ensuring that everything is perfectly aligned before the shift occurs. It is important to see waiting as an opportunity rather than a setback. While you you can grow closer to God, deepen your understanding of His purpose, and strengthen your capacity to lead and influence. The delay becomes a season of preparation, not stagnation. You are being trained to handle the weight of glory that is about to come. What you endure today will produce fruit tomorrow. The waiting period is an investment in your future, and the return will be greater than anything you could have imagined. Do not despise the delay. Do not question the process. Every moment of apparent inactivity is a moment of divine alignment. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, and setting the stage for your breakthrough. What feels slow in your perception is perfectly timed in God's perspective. When the season of waiting ends, you will step into your new life fully equipped, fully prepared, and fully positioned to fulfill your divine calling. Delay teaches reliance. It reminds you that you are not in control, and that true advancement comes from obedience and trust in God's timing. The lessons learned in patience, endurance, and faith will sustain you when promotion comes. The one who trusts God during delay will walk boldly into His promises, knowing that every step, every challenge, and every moment of waiting was part of His perfect plan to reposition them. Your life is on the brink of change. Every delay has been a divine alignment, every moment of waiting a preparation, and every challenge a refining fire. God is repositioning you, and when He moves, it will be undeniable. You are being set up for a season where everything aligns, where opportunities flourish, and where your destiny unfolds exactly as He intended. The delay is temporary, but the change He is bringing is eternal. As you step forward from this moment, carry the certainty that your life is shifting, your purpose is aligning, and your destiny is unfolding. Walk boldly into the season God has prepared, knowing that every step you take is guided by His hand. Believe in the promises, embrace the change, and let faith lead you into the greatness that awaits. Your breakthrough is here, and your journey has just begun.